Honestly, man, the internet is just completely losing its mind over Persona right now. You know how we actually see a few rumors here and there? Yeah, this is different. I mean, it's just insane, you know? If you told me a month ago that Captain Price and Joker would be training together, I'd probably tell you to go outside and touch some grass. But here we are now, it's happening. People are losing it completely. And honestly, we just need to sit down and dissect what Atlus is actually cooking behind the scenes. Something massive is shifting. So okay, let's actually look at Persona 6, right? I mean, there's some real heavy stuff happening behind the scenes at Atlus. Stuff that most people covering the leaks aren't actually looking at. We've all been tracking the rumors. Is the theme color is going to be green? Is it coming out next year? It's fun to guess, it really is. The leaks are interesting, sure, but the real weight is with the people itself. The actually human beings sitting in a room trying to build this thing. We have to talk about Katsura Hashino. You know the name? He's the guy who basically built the entire modern identity of the franchise. He stepped in for Persona 3, completely flipped the formula, and then gave us Persona 4 and Persona 5. That's an insane run, of course. The man is a certified genius. But here's the thing we always seem to forget. He actually left P Studio way back in 2016, right after the Japanese release of Persona 5. He packed up his things, moved down the hall, and started Studio Zero to work on entirely new non-Persona projects. That was a decade ago. It's kind of wild to think about it. So for a long time now, P Studio has been moving forward without him. It's a completely new era, a new guard, you know. Kazuhisa Wada and the team have been running the show, handling the spin-offs, directing the remakes, doing a great job, of course. They've been holding the keys to the kingdom. But a brand new mainline game, Persona 6 is their first true massive test. It's their clean slate, and that's where the real anxiety settles in for a lot of fans. Hashino did way more than just direct games. He injected a very specific, deeply philosophical soul into them. He made, Persona weirdly beautiful, relevant to our actual lives. And of course, the question is, can a new team replicate that specific magic? I mean, sure, they can give us a flawless, stylish user interface. They can hire a great composer to make some absolute jazz bangers. But can they capture that quiet existential dread? The kind that makes you stare at your bedroom wall at 3 in the morning wondering what you're actually doing with your life? I don't know. It's an immense amount of pressure. You're handed a multi-million-dollar golden goose, but the original map is gone. It honestly makes you appreciate what we already have. It really does. You start looking back at those older titles and you realize just how lightning in a bottle those ideas were. Like, when you look at how perfectly constructed everything was, especially with a game like Persona 4, it makes total sense why everyone is suddenly begging for a revival right now. There's a lot of more to it than just cheap nostalgia. It's something deeper about the way those stories were built. Let me show you what I mean. Think back to 2008 for a second, okay? The world was a completely different place, you know? I don't know if some of you that watch this video maybe still like 2 years old, 1 year old, or even you haven't born yet. We had flip phones, early YouTube, no massive algorithmic feeds rolling our, daily existence. Life felt slower, and right in the middle of that world, Atlus drops Persona 4. On the surface, it's this bright, yellow-infused murder mystery in a sleepy rural town called Inaba. Everyone loves the characters. The Scooby-Doo squad vibes are just immaculate. But when you look at the recent trend in people searching for a Persona 4 revival right now, it's not just because we miss hanging out at June's after school, it's because the core message of that game has aged like fine wine. It actually feels way more relevant today than it did 2 decades ago. It's almost terrifying how ahead of its time it was. In an old 2008 interview, Katsura Hashino explicitly broke down what he was trying to do with the story. He talked about the fog. You remember the fog in Inaba? It rolls in, wraps around the town, blinds everyone, and causes people to lose their mind and disappears just like that. Hashino said that fog served as a direct metaphor for our limited vision, not just a spooky aesthetic choice. He wanted to show how humans naturally struggle to see the truth. We don't want the raw, uncomfortable truth, we want comfort. We choose to stay blind because looking at reality requires actual effort. It requires you to step out into the cold and look at things you might hate. It's just so much easier to let the fog roll in, cover everything up, and pretend everything is fine. Then you have the Midnight Channel. If you stare into a blank TV screen on a rainy night, you'll see your soulmate or a gossip target. Hashino designed that entire mechanic to reflect how the public consumes media. We have this deep, almost voyeuristic desire to peek into the lives of people who become famous. We watch them through a glass screen, but we aren't seeing the actual person. We're seeing a projection of our own desires and assumptions. We parse information based entirely on what feels good, not what is actually true. He wanted to write a story about media literacy in 2008. Let that sink in for a minute. I mean, look at us now, Look at the internet today. We live in a permanent global version of Inaba. You open an app and your feed is just a customized fog tailored exactly to your personal bias. You see a wild headline, you don't check fact it. Why would you? It fits your worldview perfectly, so it must be true. We live in echo chambers where we willingly throw ourselves into the TV screen every single day. Hashino saw this coming before smartphones took over. It's beautiful, really. We think we're so advanced, but we're still just those lazy townspeople sitting in a dark living room waiting for the screen to tell us who to judge next. That brings us to the ultimate villain, Izanami. She functions as the literal embodiment of humanity's lack of critical thinking. Bypassing classic monster tropes, she exists because the collective consciousness of the world asks for her. Humanity wanted a god that would handle the heavy lifting, wrap them in a comfortable lie, and let them sleep forever. She gave us exactly what we begged for. That's why a remake feels so urgent right now. It's a mirror. It's Atlus holding up a reflection of our society and asking if we're finally ready to see past our screens. And honestly, it ties perfectly into the weird ways Atlus has chosen to handle this massive popularity across the industry lately. Which brings us right back to that absolute fever dream of a metric we talked about at the very beginning. Call of Duty X Persona 5, and actually it's Persona 5 Royale because you got Katsumi Yoshizawa there, and it just feels fake just saying it out loud. But that's the reality of how massive this universe has become. Atlus knows they have a cultural phenomenon on their hands, and their approach to expanding it is honestly kind of brilliant, if not totally unhinged. They don't just throw their characters into random mobile games for a quick paycheck and call it a day. Well, sometimes they do, but usually there is a method to that madness. Take the spin-offs. Most franchises treat spin-offs like a fun alternate universe playground where nothing matters. Atlus doesn't do that. They make you look at a game where the Phantom Thieves are literally dancing their hearts out to electric remix. And they tell you with a completely straight face that this is completely canonical to the official timeline. It happened, and we gotta just deal with it. Joker showing up in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it fits right into the chaotic energy they've built over the years. They treat this universe like a living, breathing thing that can bend into any shape, whether it's a high-stakes tactical shooter or just some crossover rhythm game. It's wild, it's chaotic, but it keeps the game alive. You just never know where they're going to pop up next. And honestly, that's half the fun of being a fan of this game. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're just looking at a franchise that completely refuses to stay in its line, and honestly, I kind of love it for that. We're sitting at this incredible weird crossroads where Persona 6 is about to usher in a completely new guard, while we're simultaneously begging to go right back to the fog of Inaba just to remember how good we had it. It's a strange, beautiful time to be a fan, it really is. So look, we know that Persona 4 Remake is actually happening right now, and what's the one thing you absolutely need them to keep? Are you actually there for the deep critique on media literacy, or are you honestly just trying to see Joker running around with an assault rifle in Call of Duty? Let me know, drop your thoughts in the comment down below. Appreciate you hanging out with me for a bit. As always, take care of yourself, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.